So guys, we've got something really special for you here today. I'm joined here with the wonderful Dwayne Cunningham, Infidel1258. But we also have a special guest here today, and that is Chatter, a Splinterlands team member who is the Director of Marketing, I believe. So hello and welcome, Chatter. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I think it was back in October when I first heard you introduced on one of the AMAs. So could you perhaps introduce yourself to our lovely viewers and let them know how you fit in the Splinterlands puzzle?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. It's good to be able to represent Splinterlands and be able to connect with the community. But yeah, as you said, joined in October, been with the company for about a month now as the director of growth, or kind of leading up the marketing team on these kind of side of things. What we had seen from the Splinterlands side is that we were growing astronomically just with organic growth, but it kind of turned to the point where we really wanted to start putting together a marketing team. We really wanted to start putting together a marketing spend. And so they brought me on board just to kind of help come on and facilitate that. We have a great organization, and there's been some awesome people on the team. Clay Azaria, the list goes on there. So really excited to be a part of the team, really excited to be a part of the organization and community as well.
Chatter, my name is Dwayne. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
I don't know how much you know about me, but I've been around Splinterlands for a long time. But I don't, even though I do have the Mav status, I don't go into the Discord very often. And until very recently, I wasn't like at all in Discord. So I don't really know I get surprised by some of the stuff that you guys are putting out, including yesterday when I saw that you posted that Game State partnership. That's really cool.
Yeah, the guy who runs that company, we've worked with him in the past, and he's kind of helped create a lot of other different blockchains and done some other kind of projects too. So him, Cryptomancer, I think Aggie, they all go quite a ways back, and he's showed me some of the kind of confidential documents for what they're building there, and it looks awesome. They've really started building this whole megaverse, so similar to kind of what, I mean, even like Roblox is in terms of that virtual world. He's essentially kind of rebuilding something like that, and you'd be able to play tournaments, host tournaments, and have like these huge arenas where you have these players actually playing on stage and being able to claim actual like NFTs and achievements and everything. So thought it was a really cool idea. The team believed in it, and yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the smaller partnerships we've been pushing forward, but there's a lot of stuff on the roster here. So there's gonna be some really big updates coming in the next couple of weeks.
I'm sure there is.
Yep. And is this your first experience with blockchain gaming?
It's my first experience with marketing blockchain gaming for sure. I've been kind of sitting in the background as an investor on a few different projects, but this is really my first stint playing on the blockchain side of things, as well as really kind of doing any hands-on work with it as well.
You posted an article recently actually about the adoption of blockchain gaming, and I'm super excited about it all. I'm sure Dwayne as well feels the same way. I truly think it's going to be the future of esports. I think in that article that you did post, the research showed that 70% or so of gaming developers would consider blockchain technology, cryptos and NFTs as rewards in their games. And half of the developers mentioned that they're already planning to do so or are already doing it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's the next biggest thing in gaming and business, really in everything. Like half the reason that Splinterlands was actually kind of founded in the first place was really looking at the concept of what Magic the Gathering was as an actual game, and then looking what kind of Hearthstone was as a business, and just saying, hey, why don't we merge these two together? Why can't we have a digital game online where people can actually collect, buy, trade, sell those cards too? Because with some of the digital games that you're seeing right now that are in more kind of mainstream media, a lot of it's just you're buying cosmetics with a credit card to earn kind of in-game tokens and spend them that way. But there's nothing out of it. Once you're done, you're playing the game. Like that's it. You've lost your credits on that account, and you kind of have to just part with them. So for us, I mean, Aggie and Matt, the co-founders here, their entire vision's really been trying to create this whole like democratic society and be as decentralized as possible. And so everything we've been doing with the game is really been to try and feed back to the community and make sure this game does stay as decentralized as possible and give all the power to the players. And so I think just with all the happenings, to loop back to your question there, and kind of why is blockchain the next big thing in gaming? And I think it's really just because we're not necessarily controlling anyone. You guys are really owners and operators of your own business as far as this goes. I mean, we've seen 20 odd millionaires be minted in the past kind of 6 to 8 months, and the fact that we're able to do that, or the fact that I'm able to wake up in the mornings and say that I get messages being like, oh, hey, I paid off my mortgage, or oh hey, I bought my mom a car. Like that's the coolest thing in the world, and
Yeah.
no other business model is going to allow you to do that.
Yeah. And that's incredible with games as well. You know, there's so many of these games which are offering yields or returns which are greater than banks, for instance, in staking pools and that kind of stuff. But obviously the decentralization on top of that, which is always a bonus.
Speaking of like the integration almost of NFT and blockchain into like the broader gaming world, I've got a real excitement around that, because I know I just wanted to touch on that again, because I think it's so exciting where that could go. It's like I play a lot of I've my whole life I played games, but old RPGs for like NES, then like games like Super Metroid, and then like later Fallout and Skyrim, and
Love that.
yeah, classic
Yeah,
games.
throwbacks, eh?
Yeah, but they're these beautiful and immersive, and decades later beloved gaming experiences. And I'm picturing a future, and I think it's already here. Like I think Splinterlands is the beginning of this, but I'm picturing a future where in like 20 years we're looking back and we're saying like, remember, Splinterlands, and it's like, there'll be other games that are taking it to another level. Like I love this game. I think I'll always love this game. I don't need that next level per se. Like I said, I still love Super Metroid. I still love Mario, but there are next levels for this. Like, and I think it's so cool to imagine where that's going to go. But I see it happening too within Splinterlands. Like the idea of land and what that's going to bring, and the interconnectivity with the land and the monsters in the rank battle, and the monsters with the brawl system. I love how and the fact that it's all owned and it's ours. It's so different, and I'm super pumped about it. And I guess I wonder, like, what other games have you been in, and like how did you kind of get to a place where this was, like how did you end up doing this for Splinterlands? What was your connection, or how did that really evolve?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Yeah, Metroid, oh man, that was a throwback. I used to play so much of that. I put in probably a couple hundred hours on Ocarina time too back in the day when I had my GameCube and all that fun stuff. But yeah, no, I've been a gamer for life. It's started with a GameCube, got really competitive in like Super Smash Bros. For a little bit, and then swapped over to Counter-Strike, where I actually ended up kind of playing semi-pro with a couple of the major teams, and then kind of moved on for an analyst to them. And then
who'd you play with?
Yeah. It was a little bit with like, I guess, complexity, and when they were like first building their roster. I knew a couple of the guys there, and so just kind of play around with them, do some scrims with them. I had my own team that wasn't like necessarily a sponsored team or anything there, but we'd always scrim against those guys, and then like help do some strategy and analytics and everything for them there. So that was kind of the first start when I was a kid, and was too young to actually sign any contracts or anything. So was just kind of floating around in limbo for a little bit, and then fell in love with League of Legends, actually, which is kind of the game that I've been grinding as of more recently. And so a couple of buddies of mine, they were all on the pro circuit, and started getting kind of more so into the strategy side of things again. And I feel like I always kind of just wound up on the strategy and analytics and coaching and helping with a challenger team now, and try and drive their roster into the LCS competitive scene. So we'll see how that all goes. But I mean, long story short, being a gamer for life, and then on the professional side of things, I've been in marketing and analytics, and had a connection with Splinterlands, and they introduced me, and that was kind of history from there on forth. So it's been great. It's kind of pleasure meets passion right now, and everything's smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That brings it back to the point where, Aggroed and everyone in Splinterlands, or the AMAs and things, is always say that, we're gamers first and creators second. And I guess that just goes to show right there. But going back to Dwayne's comment there about, the expansion of NFTs and where it's heading and all that kind of stuff, that really interests me. And I think a lot of companies are trying to get in on the ground floor with the whole metaverse idea, most notably, I guess, with Facebook taking the plunge recently and rebranding to the metaverse. But it looks like it could possibly be the next big thing. And I think developers and creators who can identify these new game-changing technologies are going to be ahead of the curve, so to speak. But, for me, I just think that the sky's the limit with these type of technologies. Imagine being able to, on a virtual reality landscape, being able to go into that landscape, and watch esports. Watch a game of Splinterlands or something played on a stadium with thousands of people virtually. That kind of stuff just blows my mind.
Llama, I wanted to pop in there for just to add something before you comment there, Chatter. I wonder if this is like, I picture Splinterlands land going that way where we can like get, and I think I heard Nate talk about how like maybe it was just a dream, but it was like a comment, or like maybe it could be. Is it something we could like maybe one day explore, like a space, like a meta space that we could step into and go see the farm and I wonder if you know anything about that, Chatter, or if you could comment on anything like that. That'd be really cool to know more about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as the land stuff goes, I'm not allowed to leak anything, unfortunately, but there's some huge updates coming with the land expansions and everything there. So keep your eye out. There's going to be some really exciting updates. As far as the metaverse stuff goes, we don't have any kind of near future plans, but we've definitely talked about it. Cards are on the table there. So it's kind of never say never. If there's enough polling for it, if there's enough kind of community stake for it, then absolutely that's something that we can consider in the future. And I mean, even with Hardpoint, I don't know kind of if you guys are in the Discord, you'll see Hardpoint here and there. He's our VP engineering, absolutely amazing developer, great dude. But he's just created a kind of governance and staking system so people can actually start staking SPS in order to vote on new in-game changes and everything else there. So that's going to be rolling out pretty soon full time. And yeah, it'll be exciting to see kind of what we can do there.
I have a question on that. Is that going to be like an interlude or like a stepping stone on the way to the broader SPS governance idea? Do you have anything on that? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the first big step there, is just allowing community input to really help drive decisions on how we want to start driving this game forward. I think the goal right now is just to cave out kind of 5-10 hours a week of dev time to work on those concepts, and then the rest of it's still going to be working on land expansions and all those other kind of main roadmap ideas. But absolutely, the goal at the end of the day is just to have complete absolute governance with SPS tokens and let the community really drive the game.
Yeah. And are there any other elements that will be programmed into the governance system that you're aware of in regards to the marketing side of things? The reason I ask is because I saw somewhere that sponsored tournaments and partnership prizes could also be introduced into SPS governance at later dates.
Yeah, absolutely. And so kind of no solid set in stone marketing aspects of that. I'm going to be using it as a primary kind of position to pull marketing updates and say, okay, let's say we're working on spinning up an esports league and doing XYZ instead. Those are things that I'd love to actually put out to the community and say, hey, what's kind of top priority for you guys? What do you guys want to see first? And that will help us at least roadmap on the marketing side. I think that's kind of what it's going to be, first steps. And then kind of in future, as you said, all those different things are going to be kind of inclusive in that governance system going forward.
Sweet. I'd personally love to see things like, season rewards, daily rewards, and leaderboard rewards increase proportionally, perhaps to people who are staking SPS. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I think you'd probably. That sounds interesting, but don't you think that would that provokes like a conversation? And I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. It provokes conversation around like, oh, this game is just for rich people and the whales, and it like they don't ever support. Like there's an attitude out there where any vision where like the staking or, for instance, holding alpha cards or you were here doing the land. There is a certain number of individuals who are quite frustrated around anything that's geared or maybe focused around, I would call it honoring the people that have really made this game what it is. And I know this is, perhaps prickly territory, but I think it's an important conversation to maybe touch on. I don't know if you want to say anything on that one, Chatter, or maybe sidestep that thorny issue.
No, I'm always here for it. Like, I want to be as transparent as possible with this community. Like, I encourage anyone on Discord at any time, if you guys have any questions, at me on Discord and I'll reply to them right away. We're not in the business of trying to shy away from conflict or anything here. We want to, again, make this as decentralized and as kind of community inclusive as possible. So yeah, with that, I mean, any change that we make, and I think I've asked this question probably 8 or 9 times today with any new idea that gets brought up, is like, what does this mean for the economy? How does this prohibit or inhibit people from getting started with the game and everything there? And so an example of that is even with this, the Chaos Legion pack. When we rolled it out, we said, okay, great, we're going to mint kind of 15 million packs here. That's going to give us tons and tons of runway. We were thinking that this was going to be months and months and months of card packs being sold. Obviously, that kind of gives us time to keep building other updates, whether it be land expansion, anything else there, and still have time to develop our card packs kind of down the road, where there's only going to be maybe 2-3 months period where there's no cards actually being actively sold. And that allows people to get in kind of at the ground floor at $4 a pack. It's not too much of a big dissuader to really get started in the game. But obviously, a lot of kind of what we saw it now has been turned on its head, where people are almost projecting that these card packs are going to be sold out in weeks here. And I mean, I'm not speaking anything to that, but it's going to be pretty amazing to see kind of what this community can do. But going forward with that, absolutely, it's top of mind to make sure that we're not pricing anyone out of the game, to make sure that we're not kind of gating anyone from actually being able to start the game. We're working on a lot of things on the back end of that. One idea that we're toying with that's not actually set in stone yet, but we really do want to kind of get going, is a potential kind of player delegation system where, along with kind of delegating cards to players, you can also potentially like almost hire players, where someone would say, okay, I'm going to delegate you 30 of my different cards for the day. You can start playing with them. X% of the dark energy crystals that you earn with those cards will go to the player playing them, and then whatever else would go back to the person who's delegating the cards. And that way it's almost introducing the scholarship system. And then we'll have to figure out some incentives to how to build that up, whether it's kind of, oh, hey, after X amount of wins, you're going to earn X amount % more of dark energy crystals, kind of so on and so forth there. But that'll allow players to really get in, start playing with great cards, and actually earn dark energy crystals and all those rewards. The players would earn all the rewards too. So any of the card packs or the season ranked rewards, so on and so forth, the player would keep that too. Again, it's just an idea we've tossed out there, but we're trying to figure out ways to let people really get in at the ground floor and not have to necessarily even spend money to start to build up. And that way it rewards people for playing. It rewards people from really kind of learning the game and getting their nails dug into the game. But also for the people who maybe even just invested a ton of the game but don't want to play, it also gives them an option to kind of continue circulating the amount of cards and the amount of kind of liquidity going around our system too.
That sounds cool. Oh, go ahead, Llama.
Just to touch on that, if we can just flesh that out for a second. With the mentorship, would that be, for instance, an analogy when you learn to drive a car, you have two people with a steering wheel who can steer the car in the direction that they choose. But would that be essentially the same thing? Would it be like a co-op thing where you could have a mentor and you could play with a newer player and they'd both be able to control the hand that's played? Because that would be incredible.
I mean, that's a great idea. That's something that I will definitely pitch to the team. I mean, and this is, again, why this whole like staking and voting and idea systems actually being put in place is so these ideas can come forward with us. Like, we've been looking through and we did a little kind of beta of it. And some of the ideas and quality of life changes and everything that are put forward were amazing. And we're actually having the team work on a handful of them already. So yeah, absolutely. That's something that we can do. And I think that's a great idea.
Sorry, that's actually my IP now. So.
Well,
Yabo was saying in one of the AMAs that they would love to introduce like a DAO technology, decentralized autonomous organization technology, to like the guild element, where guild resources could be held, I guess, somehow communally, and like maybe attribute a certain amount of reward from the assets, whether it's SPS airdrops or whether it's like daily rank grind, rewards. And I know that people are out there finding solutions now without that sort of trustless software being available. But it'd be really neat to know if there's anything you can share around maybe what that might, because it feels like that's what you were kind of just saying, like there could be like the scholarship thing you're just mentioning feels like that, where it's like you're putting these cards you're lending them in a different way, and it's almost like maybe an autonomous organization or like a DAO type technology is overseeing that. That's what I was at least thinking when you were speaking that. Can you expand on that a little bit, or maybe comment on how that might apply to guilds, or what Yaba said with respect to maybe one day incorporating DAOs?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I can necessarily talk to the guild side of things. I'm not sure 100% what those plans are.
Sure.
But yeah, in terms of kind of the DAO mindset and keeping everything autonomous, we are really kind of striving for that idea. We want to be as hands-off as possible for kind of how you guys want to play the game and how you guys want to kind of govern yourselves in the game. That being said, obviously we want to have a good grip on how the cave grows and make sure that everything's running properly and doing all that stuff. So not to say that we're just taking a step back altogether, but we don't want to necessarily interfere with how people want to play the game. And so a lot of that is kind of centralizing around ideas of how do we kind of move everything within the game? How do we make this as kind of easy and streamlined as possible for the players? And whether that be, maybe we make a market in the game, maybe we do kind of, as you're talking about with all the guild systems there. Those are all conversations being talked about right now. So absolutely, cards are on the table. What that looks like going forward, I don't have any ideas that I can necessarily share that are set in stone, but absolutely, those are ideas that we're moving towards.
I just wanted to expand on that one as like a point of maybe conversation, or just like to share what we're doing. I run a guild. We're called Time and Attention, TNA. And one thing that we do, which I think is like relatively unique, it's like a scholarship idea where I have a certain amount of power that I've been fortunate to have accumulated over time. And I put that into an account, and then I give the public the private posting key to trusted guild members, and the posting key enables activation of a match. But you can't spend funds, you can't move funds, you can't buy cards. So there's a degree of we're trying to, within the systems that exist, to create a scenario where that scholarship can we're unlocking value that I can't really take full advantage of. I don't have the time and the margin. I'm in a different place, and some people have way more time and less money. And so it's like there's these interesting opportunities, almost kind of coming full circle to the beginning of the conversation where we're talking about the power of this stuff and how it's transforming gaming, because it's really opening doors that couldn't be even imagined, let alone opened, before some of this technology really existed. And so it's super cool. And I think like there's billions of people in the world where, right now I'm getting like 100 or 200 DEC per win in gold. It's like, that is life-changing wealth for probably 5 billion people on the planet. And I don't know if it's more of a comment, but I'm just like, I guess I'm just sharing my excitement and maybe what we're doing with that. And I'm so pumped for like what this could become if that trustless technology is allowed to, because that's what a DAO is. It's going to unlock the trustless side of it, where I don't have to go into a trusted relationship with a party on the other side, and we have to kind of, entrust my assets to you and hope it works out. No, the software can take over, and we can create these environments and these situations that are uniquely beneficial to both parties, and that's really, really cool.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's exactly kind of what we're striving towards right now. Is really there's kind of two sides of what we're doing to grow the game on the development side of things. And I don't want to necessarily speak for our development team or anything there, but we have our quality of life changes, and then we have kind of the new updates and everything. And that's something that we're really looking at on the quality of life side of things, where any time that we're seeing pain points of, I need to trust this person with a wallet or a posting key or anything on that really topic there, we want to remove that to the point where you can do that in game. You can trust people with cards. You can trust people with dark energy crystals or whatever other those functions are, without necessarily needing to give them access to your account or anything else there. So how we set up those bridges and how we figure that out, still TBT. But yeah, I mean, that's the goal. That's the vision for us for sure.
I have total confidence in you guys and the Splinterlands team as a whole. And the proof's in the pudding, really. I think in the past 3 months we've had 3,200% increase in player base, and with 650,000 unique active wallets being connected to the game in the last month alone. Those are huge numbers. And what are your thoughts? Where do we go from here?
To the moon. Long story short.
Yep.
Yeah, I was looking at our numbers today and I was blown away. I was looking in our analytics section, kind of the back of our account, and we have been doing
Can I get access to
hundreds.
that, by the way?
Yeah, maybe another time. But yeah, I was looking at our sessions, and I think starting in July, when we had first really set up all of our data and tracking and stuff on the Google Analytics and other kind of analytics platform side of things, we were doing hundreds of thousands of sessions per month, and that was June, July kind of thing. We've grown over 100% every single month since then, to the point where we just surpassed 10 million sessions within a week last week. We had almost 11 million, which is crazy to think about. We're closing out on kind of like 50 million sessions per month. It's wild to see how fast the game's growing. The amount of sessions every single month per user is growing. The amount of duration per session is growing. I mean, people are starting to really get locked in on the game, and that one kind of metric around average session duration is the one thing I've really been honing in on, of just trying to measure if users are enjoying the game, to see if people want to play it more than just kind of unlocking their daily rewards and then logging off kind of thing. And I know Splinterlands is made as a game that's not necessarily something that needs to be grinded to get the value out of, and I think that's really the reason that we've been super successful too, is you don't need to play that 12-hour day to necessarily reap the rewards of the game. But yeah, no, it's exciting to see kind of every single one of our core metrics are starting to grow.
That's brilliant. And I would definitely attest to that, because I'd be playing the game a lot more if it wasn't my ECR capture rates preventing me from doing so. And I understand why that has been implemented into the game because of bots and things like that. But it's, you know, it's a great game. And look, so I know that we've only got a limited time with you, Chatter. You mentioned that you've got another conference happening shortly. So I just wanted to touch on the partnerships that are coming up, perhaps. I saw that you're doing one with DeFi Raccoons, I think it is, hosting a $7,000 NFT giveaway, which is crazy. But are these partnerships a sign of what's to come? Do you have any other marketing goals or giveaways happening in the near future that you can share with us?
Oh man, this is the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, let me quickly pull up my list here. Well, just want to make sure I'm not leaking anything and see what I can share.
Leak away.
Yeah, it's crazy though. I'm trying to spin up an esports league for us, and I think that's going to be one of my kind of hopefully near-term visions. But we just talked to 2 different organizations that have teams in both the like professional Counter-Strike and League of Legends teams. I'm not going to name names there, but we have major league esports organizations that are already kind of lined up at our door to get in here.
Wow.
As well as some other kind of major organizations outside of esports as well. But
Music
yeah, it's right. Yeah, there's going to be giveaways. There's going to be a whole bunch of kind of co-marketing with some other big companies coming down the pipe here. There's a couple celebrities that we're in talks with right now to potentially kind of create NFTs with and try and figure out how to integrate those into the game. Man, there's so many things that I'm looking at right now that I can't leak, but I want to talk about so badly.
I want to hear them. I want to hear them so badly.
Yeah. I mean, some other stuff I could talk about. We actually had a user reach out that is kind of friends with Matt that runs a comic book store out of Jersey, and that's Matt. And so working with him to potentially try and spin up like a Splinterlands comic book and seeing how we can kind of start tying that to what could potentially be like a DC or Marvel partnership in the future as well, right? So all baby steps. I mean, we're not going to get there overnight, but yeah, big picture, man, is just like mainstream. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just a thought. Sorry to interject there, but just a thought on the comic book idea. You know, perhaps for first issues, people with staked SPS could get a chance of getting the first prints or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We can build in some like whitelisting functions. We're talking about potentially releasing an NFT with that comic book, and so potentially like the main character for whatever that comic book could actually have a Splinterlands character, a Splinterlands card minted for them too, and every comic book buyer would get that card as well to then play in Splinterlands. There's a lot of different things we're working on.
Wow.
I would say sit tight, but this is like the giveaways, these kind of small co-marketing partnerships. These are really just the tip of the iceberg for us.
That's amazing. I'm so excited. So guys, Chatter and the Splinterlands team have been generous enough to support both Dwayne and I by organizing a few beta packs to be given away to you guys. So I speak on behalf of everyone here when I say thank you so much, man. We sincerely appreciate you. And the way I'm going to run my giveaway is that I've actually had a bot in my Discord channel monitoring the people who have been contributing to the channel the most and helping out other users. Because I think that's what it's all about, right? So in the future as well, I'm going to be running similar giveaways where I want to specifically reward people who are helping out others, because I think that's a really nice way to pay it forwards. So if you want to be a part of those giveaways going forwards, make sure you check out both Dwayne and my own Discords. And I've basically put the top 30 contributors of my Discord into a spin wheel ready to spin. and the top 5 contributors have also gotten a second ticket in the running for being the wonderful individuals that they are. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to run my spin wheel, if that's all good.
Yeah, do it.
Yep. Boom. Let's go. The winner is... It's Dave the Great. Dave the Great. I knew it was... I kind of knew that it was going to be this guy as well, because he pops into all my streams and has a tendency to win a lot of things. But he's been contributing to the stream and to the community with giveaways and stuff that he's been providing himself as well. So that's great. I'm happy to give that away to him. But over to you, Dwayne.
Okay. Spin wheel of names. And before I do it, I've given opportunities to the vocal individuals in the Discord, again, using bot data to extract the names of the people who are being most vocal, because we want people that are building community and helping one another. That's what the Discord's about. That's what the YouTube's about. Also the members within the channel, the YouTube channel, and the shareholders from the Discord. And so some people are going to have multiple entries into the list because they fit into all 3 of those touch points. And so there, on my side, there are 125 entries. And okay, let's click to spin. Good luck, guys. This is like a $200 value. Oh, Andy plays. Angry. Did you see that? Angry Monkey's in my guild, and it was almost ready to tip over onto Angry, but so Andy plays gets it.
Nice one.
Thank you, guys.
Nice one. Congratulations, Andy plays, and congratulations to Dave the Great. Look, I believe we should let you go. It's been so good talking to you, Chatter. You know, you've really provided some insights for us on Splinterlands and what's to come, and we are so excited. And I just can't wait to see what Splinterlands brings us next.
I do feel like it was a lot of teasers, though, Chatter. We need to have you back when you can actually unpack some more of that stuff and come a few steps further for us. That's exciting stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
I mean, hopefully next time we talk, we'll have a lot more to share. That's going to be kind of physical and in concept. So yeah, I mean, thanks so much for having me. And I just want to say a big thank you to both of you and the rest of the community. I mean, obviously this game is being really built off organic growth and really built off the kind of backbone of the community. So, I mean, without you guys, there's no Splinterlands, as cliche as it is. And yeah, thanks so much.